On Monday, IBM suffered what was basically the worst single-day stock crash in its entire 115-year history.
Yeah, a 25% drop, just massive.
Exactly, a staggering 25%. But, the truly terrifying part isn't just that a legacy tech giant lost a huge chunk of its value.
Right.
The really wild part is what their enterprise clients are actually doing with the money they pulled out. Like, they aren't saving it.
No, not at all.
They are frantically hoarding raw steel, wet concrete, and silicon.
Yeah, we are basically watching the whole illusion of weightless software just shatter in real time.
It really is. And, well, welcome to the deep dive, everyone.
Glad to be here.
Today, we're looking at a huge stack of articles from the daily Tech Reader, and this is dated Friday, July 17th, 2026. And, for you listening, our overarching mission today is decoding this massive tectonic shift.
Oh, it's a huge shift.
Right, because AI is no longer just this cool software trick where you ask a chatbot to summarize a PDF. It is a geopolitical and economic wrecking ball, basically restructuring everything from global treaties to Wall Street budgets.
It's touching literally everything.
So, okay, let's unpack this. I want to start with that biggest financial shockwave of the day to show exactly where enterprise money is and honestly, where it isn't flowing right now.
Yeah, that IBM panic really reveals the underlying mechanism of what's happening.
So what exactly did the CEO say? Because it wasn't just a normal earnings miss.
No, I mean, Arvind Krishna basically made this huge systemic confession. He admitted that their enterprise clients are hoarding servers, memory, and storage right now ahead of these AI-driven price hikes.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's completely cannibalizing IBM's traditional software and consulting budgets.
It's like these enterprise clients have turned into doomsday preppers,
Ah, yeah, exactly.
But instead of hoarding canned beans in a bunker, they are hoarding server racks.
Yeah, they really are.
So, what does this all mean? Is traditional software dead? Or are we just in this really awkward, expensive teenage phase of AI adoption?
Well, it's really about the physical reality of compute, right?
Yeah.
Money is finite. Corporate budgets are finite.
Sure.
So the foundational layer, which is the hardware, that has to be physically built out before the application layer of the software can stabilize, they literally can't run these new models without the iron.
And that's bringing back all this fear about the SaaSpocalypse.
Oh, the SaaSpocalypse is definitely back in the conversation.
Because, the sources mention Anthropic's new Mythos AI cybersecurity model. Clients are looking at their traditional security software deals and pausing them.
Right. They're saying, why buy a legacy dashboard when Mythos can just automate the security team?
Exactly. But meanwhile, Wall Street is just totally cashing in on this hardware panic.
Oh, the banks are having a field day. JP Morgan just posted a record $21.2 billion Q2 profit.
$21.2 billion. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's the highest in U.S. banking history. And Goldman Sachs jumped 84% to $6.4 billion.
Wow.
Because they're the ones financing the massive hardware build-out. And Goldman is already saying that IBM's Q2 earnings call, which is coming up on July 22, is going to completely validate this whole software bear case.
Okay, but this brings up a huge issue. If companies are ditching their legacy software for AI solutions like Anthropic's Mythos, it's like hiring 10,000 interns who type incredibly fast but never leave any notes on how they solved the problem.
That is a great way to put it.
So we have to ask, is AI-generated software actually secure and reliable?
Well, if you look at that essay in The Atlantic by Alex Reiser, he doesn't think so.
Right, he calls generative AI an engineering disaster, right?
Exactly. He argues it floods code bases with this code that looks totally plausible to a human reviewer, but it's actually poorly understood.
Just massive technical debt.
Unauditable technical debt. You literally can't untangle it once it's in there.
Wait, if AI is creating this much technical debt, why on earth are enterprise clients trusting it to replace their legacy cybersecurity deals?
It's the ultimate paradox of this whole transition. We are simultaneously deploying AI to secure our systems because human speed is too slow.
Right.
While introducing massive vulnerabilities into those exact systems via AI-generated code.
It's terrifying.
It is. And the White House knows it. That's why they just launched the Gold Eagle program.
Which was the first initiative from June's AI Security Executive Order, yeah.
Yeah, Gold Eagle is this frantic push to coordinate real-time threat sharing between federal agencies, infrastructure operators, and the AI developers themselves. They're terrified of what happens when that technical debt gets exploited.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. And just a quick note for you listening, we're going to dive into some geopolitical treaties and speeches now.
Right, global politics.
And I want to explicitly state that we are just impartially reporting on these moves from the sources. We aren't taking sides or endorsing the U.S. or China's viewpoints here. We're just analyzing the board.
Exactly, just looking at the facts.
So while the U.S. is wrestling with all this software debt and trying to secure its own infrastructure with things like Gold Eagle, the global stage is just officially fracturing.
Totally fracturing into two competing AI ecosystems.
Yeah. Like Google launched Gemini 3.5 Pro today.
Finally.
Yeah.
After that June failure.
Right. They had to rebuild it from scratch. And now it has a 2 million token context window and that new deep-think reasoning.
Which is incredibly powerful, but it's very closed off. It's a corporate walled garden approach.
Contrast that with what happened at the World AI Conference in Shanghai. Chinese President Xi Jinping gave this keynote.
Yeah, calling AI a symphony of global cooperation.
Exactly. He offered 5,000 AI training opportunities to developing nations, and he explicitly warned against U.S. export controls, saying they were overstretching national security.
It's a completely different strategy. China is using AI for multilateral diplomacy, while the U.S. focuses on corporate launches.
And it seems to be working, right? Because 29 nations signed the WAICO treaty in Shanghai.
Yes, the World Artificial Intelligence Cooperation Organization.
Right, including countries like Russia, Pakistan, Kazakhstan. Are we basically watching the creation of an AI Cold War where the weapons are just compute clusters and API endpoints?
I mean, in many ways, yes. The WAICO treaty is China successfully creating this institutional anchor. Despite the U.S. export controls, they are building a parallel domestic hardware ecosystem.
Like the Huawei debut.
Exactly. Huawei publicly debuted the Atlas 950 SuperPod at the same conference, which is their most powerful AI computing system yet.
So they're getting the hardware even without U.S. chips.
Yep. And their software side is just as aggressive. Look at DeepSeek.
Oh man, the DeepSeek news. They raised $7 billion.
Huge raise. And an upcoming 2027 IPO. But the really aggressive move is their V4 API migration.
Right, they set a hard July 24 deadline to retire their legacy aliases.
Which forces developers worldwide to adapt to their standard instantly. It's a massive flex of ecosystem control.
Well, whether we're talking about American models or Chinese ecosystems, all of these massive setups require an unimaginable amount of physical resources.
Unimaginable. The power requirements alone.
Right, like we were saying earlier, it's a digital gold rush. But the pickaxes are literally draining the town's power grid.
Exactly. Just look at the lawsuit against New York Governor Hochul.
Oh yeah, the one-year moratorium on new hyperscale data center construction.
The tech companies are furious, but the states are realizing AI is just eating all their electricity. The digital realm is hitting a hard physical wall.
And it's not just power. AI is aggressively expanding out into the real world to get physical data.
Right, the Aptronic robot park.
That blew my mind. They're converting simulation data into actual real-world behavior and then feeding that directly back into Google DeepMind's Gemini.
Because knowledge is moving out of the cloud. The AI needs to learn how things physically interact in the real environment.
It needs human data, too. The sources detailed that CVS Health and Google Alliance.
That's a massive data play.
They are combining clinic data, pharmacy records, and wearable data with Gemini for preventative care. And I really have to push back here.
Go for it.
Is there a risk that feeding all our private wearable and pharmacy data into a massive model like Gemini just creates this huge privacy nightmare? Or is the preventative health benefit simply too good to pass up?
Well, that's the billion-dollar question, isn't it?
Okay.
The companies will say it's going to save lives, but you are handing over human biometric data to a system that we already know hallucinate code.
Right.
But it goes beyond healthcare. Helsing Defense just raised $1.8 billion.
To explore commercial AI expansion.
Yeah. But they built their models on NATO fighter jet and submarine contracts. So you have AI moving into the physical battlefield, into healthcare, into robotics.
While traditional media is still fighting over streaming rights.
Exactly.
Like that Paramount Warner Bros. Discovery merger antitrust case that's nearing a ruling next week. It just feels like a footnote compared to AI submarines.
It really does. Traditional media consolidation is just happening in the shadow of this massive physical tech expansion.
So if data centers are maxing out our terrestrial power grids, let's look at the hardware moving us around on Earth and the tech trying to get us off it.
Space and transport.
Yeah. Rivian is actually having a great week. They raised their 2026 delivery forecast to 65,000 to 70,000 vehicles.
which outperformed their Q2 targets.
Yeah, driven by the R2 SUV launch and the R1 growth. I mean, it's kind of funny. Space is hard, but apparently building electric SUVs at scale is finally getting easier.
Well, the manufacturing ramp-up for Rivian has been surprisingly smooth lately.
Unlike SpaceX.
Right, SpaceX had to abort a Starship test flight this week.
And the stock slipped immediately. So how critical is SpaceX's Starship to this broader tech ecosystem? Are we just talking about a rocket, or is this the delivery truck for future space-based infrastructure?
It is absolutely the delivery truck. The market reacted to that SpaceX delay because it's directly tied to the future economics of the tech industry.
You mean orbital data centers?
Yes. If New York won't let you build a data center because you're using too much power, eventually you have to put those servers in orbit where solar energy is infinite and cooling is free.
Wow.
But you can only do that if Starship works. So aerospace risks are now tech sector risks.
Meanwhile, NASA is just quietly succeeding. The processing for their Roman space telescope is perfectly on track.
Right, they're 43 days away from its August 30 Falcon Heavy launch.
It's just a totally different pace of engineering.
It is the methodical NASA approach versus the chaotic tech rush.
So for you listening, why does all this matter? Whether you're managing a corporate budget and buying servers or coding software or just monitoring your health on a wearable or watching global politics, this shift from software to compute-heavy AI hardware is fundamentally rewriting the rules of the world.
It absolutely is. And I'll leave you with this final thought to mull over.
Yeah, what's your takeaway?
If AI models are learning from our real-world physical actions, like the Aptronic robots and the CVS Health data, and they're learning faster than human engineers can even audit their underlying code, as we saw in that Atlantic essay, who is actually training whom?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Are we programming the AI, or is the AI already subtly redesigning how humans work, secure their systems, and build their physical cities?
I mean, when you look at the power grids tapping out, it really feels like the AI is reshaping us.
Exactly.
Well, on that slightly terrifying note, we're going to wrap it up. Keep questioning the headlines and stay curious. See you next time.